Hello and welcome to my PSF1 Canada highlights. 5 red lights and away we go. Now anyone who watches my videos knows that this is the first time I've going to be commentating over my own league race. The reason for this is because I feel like I need to take that next step. Beforehand my videos used to be me just clipping up into just overtakes, pit stops, and taking a checkered flag. But with me commentating over it, you get a feel for what I was thinking, how the race was unfolding for myself. But as you can see here, lap 1 at Canada, already building a gap to Jack behind, who by any means necessary is not a slow driver. So to be building a gap to such a quick driver, I'll take happily. As you see, the gap is at 8 tenths. My main goal at this point was to get that second gap and not be within DRS. Any track, but more so I think Canada, DRS down this back straight is very overpowered, so I knew I needed to be out of it, and we are going to come across the line now at the end of lap 1 sorry, excuse me, to obviously set the fastest lap. And with the gap still being 8 tenths, I knew I needed to get a gap, and I am now going to skip ahead to a couple laps when DRS has been activated and see if I can extend the gap. And as you can see now at the end of lap 3, the gap is now 2.2 seconds. So for whatever reason, maybe people, Jack doesn't like this track, or he made a mistake, but for whatever reason I've just got really good pace around here. And as you see, Juan there is in third, who is the main person I'm fighting for the championship at this point. So yeah, my main race is with him. I'm not really too fussed with Jack. If Jack was to win, I wouldn't be too bothered about it. But yeah, all in all, doing a very good job at the minute, building a gap to Jack, and hope I can continue doing so. As I think now we are going to skip ahead to when I pit. I think we're skipping ahead to when I pit, as this is me building up a gap, and you don't really want to see that. And yep, lap 12, as you can see now, I do decide to pit this lap. Jack did pit lap 9 but I think he did come out in traffic, but I wanted to carry on and not come out in traffic and have a bit of fresh air. So coming into the pits now, as you can see there, Frisky is in second place, who started from last. So to be second from starting from last, I mean, yeah, he hasn't pitted yet, but shout out to him, because kept it clean, no incidents, and is going to take provisional lead of this race. As you see Jack there coming into shot, he didn't actually gain that much on me. If I would have pitted a lap or two earlier, I think I would have come out ahead of him and Frisky. But yeah, we are going to skip ahead now to where us three do get very close indeed. Yeah, I'm really enjoying doing this at the minute, and yeah, I guess I'll skip ahead to where it gets interesting. And here we are now, lap 14. Frisky and Jack going side by side. Jack gets the move done. Frisky, I think just let him by. Once again, Frisky having a really good race. But I knew at this point I needed to get past Frisky to have any chance of catching Jack. I mean, Jack in fresh air is, he can just build a gap and be gone. So I knew I needed to get past Frisky ASAP, preferably this lap. But as you can see now, coming through sector 1, we are harassing Frisky's back end through here. You can see that my setup is just really good in sector 1. I am running quite high wings, so on the straights I knew I was going to be a bit of a bust. But through sector 1, you can see now getting a really good exit there. Actually going to go for a move. This isn't really a place to overtake, but I just wanted the overtake done, being aggressive down the inside, leaving Frisky space, and we do get the move done. Now a lot of people will see that and think, oh well, it was a good move, but this is a waste, because Frisky behind me is going to get DRS, and he's going to potentially pass me again. But we get a really good exit here, and I thought at this point, oh, well, he ain't going to get close enough. But you can see Frisky's straight line speed is mad, and he's closing, actually brakes late. I have to avoid a little bit. He goes off the curb does very well to keep it, but you know, unfortunately for him, his own mistake has now gifted me second, to which now Jack has built up a 2.1 second lead. So yeah, I mean, with potentially fresh air ahead of me, I knew I, you know, had the potential to catch Jack. I knew I had the pace to. I mean, you saw in my first stint, you know, I built up a 2 second lead in the space of 4 laps, so I knew I could catch him. So it was just a means of doing it as quickly as possible. So yeah, I mean, my tyres are slightly fresher as well, so you know, we've got every chance of catching Jack and potentially taking the lead of this race. As we now do skip ahead to lap 19. Jack did make a mistake a couple laps ago, which did make me, you know, be within DRS and stay with him. But these next couple laps, I am going to leave unedited and in my highlight. So the racing here between me and Jack is really good. As you can see, I go around his outside at turn 1. I do get a better traction off turn 2, and you know, I take the lead of the race. And again, I needed to get a second lead because I knew on the straight I'd be a sitting duck. You know, at this point I do manage to build a half a second lead, so I only need half a second, and I've got, you know, I've got the gap that I need. But you'll see here that, you know, my straight line speed is terrible compared to the others, and you know, as well as, you know, I can hit the apex all I want. You know, coming through here, I mean, you can see Jack's straight line speed here. He does actually gain a little bit here, so you know, at this point I knew I was gonna maybe lose the lead of the race. Sorry, but yeah, you know, again coming down the start, DRS straight. Jack closing. He does go for it. I do let him by. You know, there's no point in fighting him. As I said, my main fight is with Juan, who at this point I thought, you know, was in, you know, top 5, you know, or just outside the top 5. So I knew I had the pace to potentially win this race. But you know, I guess we'll see how things go. But yeah, you know, as I said before about this battle with Jack, you know, it was a really good battle. You'll see that we get very close over the next lap or two. But you know, I messaged Jack after and, you know, said, you know, what a great battle this was, because I think this is quite easily one of my best battles in PSF1 this season I've had. But yeah, Jack was unfortunate in this race, as later on in the race he, you know, pits and excuse me, and gets caught out in, you know, other people's races, and it's unfortunate. But you know, this season for me has been pretty good. I mean, I've had, you know, lots of Jack, Max, you know, all going on holiday and still being on holiday. I've, you know, just taken advantage of it, you know, being consistent, turning up to every race. One thing I didn't do last races was think about the title fight, and that made me make mistakes. As we see Jack there go defensive, we do actually get a better run coming out of the last corner with DRS as well, so we do look to his inside, dive it down, leave him space. I think we was a bit too kind there, but it is what it is. Jack keeps the lead. I do go for the cutback, but again he sees it off and we carry on for another lap. But yeah, no, I mean, as I was saying about people being on holiday and missing races and that, I feel like I've sort of taken advantage of it, if that makes sense. You know, by any means I'm not the quickest guy in this league, I know that. I know there's guys in here who are quicker than me but just haven't turned up or have had bad races. But you know, as I said, I took advantage of it, and you know, it's really paying off now. As you know, this race I feel like we're showing, you know, why, you know, I'm a championship contender, you know, and I'm fighting with potentially one of the quickest guys in the league. So yeah, and keeping with him. So you know, this was very good pace from us. You know, again, DRS straight. You know, again, my straight line speed is not as good as Jack's, as we do try to go around the outside, but again, too risky. I didn't need to do that. Just wanted to let him know I'm here and I'm, you know, willing to battle. As we do go down Jack's inside again, he squeezed us a little bit here, and we do squeeze him a little bit on exit, but just give him enough space. Give him more than enough space on exit of turn 2 or 3. And as you can see now, still side by side, coming to the end of the first sector, I go round Jack's outside, leaving space on the inside. But as you can see now, Jack does go for a dive bomb. I do leave him space. He outbrakes himself, and you know, some could look at that and say, oh well, you know, just repaid the price. But you know, when Jack hit me, also I needed to turn the car in as quickly and as possible, and just unfortunately I hit him, and I don't know whether he got damage from that, because he, as you can see there, he does drop off a little bit and he doesn't actually go for the overtake down this DRS straight. So you know, whether I'll just get a really good exit. But yeah, again, really good battle with Jack, and I think we're going to skip ahead now to the closing stages of this Canada race. And yeah, lap 33 now. That there is a yellow flag. It is a Ferrari. It's either Juan or Wardy there who's going slowly. Is it Wardy? Is it Juan? As you can see there, it is Officer Juan, who, you know, who is in this championship battle. But unfortunately for him, he's had not, you know, the best of races, and you know, at this point I knew I'd won the title, and you know, all I've got to do from here is keep it clean and take the checkered flag, which is what I'm going to skip ahead to now. And yeah, lap 35, just like that. You know, 12-second lead to Lego in second. You know, shout out to him as well. You know, very good race. You know, Dougie as well, third. I think Frisky is in fourth at this point. So again, shout out to Frisky in fourth. And I think Lewis finished fifth. So shout out to Lewis. Yeah, you know, coming across. You know, I knew I'd won the title. Just thought I'd do a little bit of weaving. As we do take the checkered flag and the win, and the PSF1 World Drivers' Championship. This season for me has been, you know, one of my most, I wouldn't say dominant, but one of my most enjoyable seasons. Obviously with people missing races, you know, it's, you know, not gonna, you know, I'm just gonna take it really. I mean, this season I showed great pace, and you know, commiserations to Juan. I knew, you know, he really wanted, you know, to make the battle last until the last race, which is Mexico. But yeah, you see there, Lewis actually getting 6th due to time penalties, so that's unlucky for him. Samurai getting 9th, so no, he gets dropped to 10th because of time penalties. You know, as I said, you know, time penalties around here can make or break your race. You know, luckily I had a lead and only had 3 seconds worth of penalties. But yeah, you know, once again, I want to thank everyone in PSF1 for making this league what it is. You know, all the F1 drivers for making it as competitive as it is. Yeah, she's already now 14th, and yeah, as you can see there, a lot of corner cut penalties. Salvatore, the only person to not get a time penalty, so congratulations to Sal. Yeah, I mean, I should see there T-Bell with 12 seconds, but you know, once again, thanks to everyone in PSF1. Next week is Mexico, and it is the last race, and constructors is all to play for at the minute, so it's not over yet. Still got Mexico to do, still got their constructors to decide, and yeah, I guess I will see you then. Again, if you like this, then please tell me and I'll keep doing it. But yeah, that's for me. I'm out.